Now, government intervention in the market. Government economic aims and objectives. 1. To achieve full employment. This is where jobs are available for all those who are prepared to work at existing wage levels. That's really the definition of full employment. Achieve sustainable economic growth. This is when the average income per head of population increases, when there is no fundamental change to the structure of society, i.e., the standard of living rises. The control of government finances. The government spends money in running the economy, but it must be careful not to increase its borrowings to a level where the public finances are vulnerable to shocks. 4. Promote balanced regional development. This is aimed at ensuring all regions share in the economic growth in the country. Improve infrastructure. To attract foreign or direct foreign investment and to generate economic growth and increase the standard of living, the government needs to develop and improve the country's infrastructure. For example, roads, public transport, ports, airports, and communications. The big one in communication there is broadband. Number 6, create a joint social environment. Social policy refers to the provision of income and services to those not in a position to provide for themselves. Number 7, the control of inflation, or the control of price stability. Stabilise prices and to keep Irish industry competitive. Inflation is the steady and persistent increase in prices from one year to the next. Maintain state services. The government must ensure that essential services continue to be provided to its citizens. For example, services such as health, education, housing, and pensions. And number 9, avoid market failures. And a market failure occurs when demand and supply fails to allocate resources efficiently and society suffers. Now, the next heading then is, how do governments intervene in the economy? 1, by controlling taxes. We have direct taxes and indirect tax. Direct tax is a tax paid directly to the government by the people required to pay it. For example, PAYE, DIRT, Deposit Interest Retention Tax, Corporations Tax, which is a tax on profit. Indirect tax. This is paid to an intermediary who must pass the tax on to the government. For example, VAT. For example, when we go and we buy a good, the VAT, the value added tax, is normally included in the price, and then it is the retailer that pays it on to the revenue. Number 2, by paying social welfare. Governments use some of the taxes collected to pay social welfare. An example of a social welfare payment would be child benefit. Number 3, by providing subsidies and grants. A subsidy is a government payment to a firm or household with the purpose of increasing production and consumption. For example, museums, public parks, universities, childcare. So subsidies reduce costs. Number 4, the provision of state companies. These are companies that are wholly owned by the state. They overcome problems caused by natural monopolies. For example, it might not be profitable for a private company to operate a particular business. So, in other words, the government would do it then. Government departments. For example, the Department of Health offers health services through its agency, the Health Service Executive, the HSE. The government decides the price to be charged, whether it's free or whether it's to be paid. Number 6, laws and consumer protection. Through various pieces of legislation, consumers, employees, employers and companies have all rights and responsibilities. For example, the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act 1980 is the right to return a product if it is faulty. Planning laws monitors businesses and households and restricts their ability to do as they please in property markets. Number 7, by redistributing income. A fair society ensures that the poorest in society have a decent standard of living, and this necessitates income distribution. For example, minimum wage and progressive taxes. Number 8, by representing Irish people. The government plays a vital role in representing the interests of the country at international levels by negotiating favourable agreements with other countries on a wide range of issues.